What's up, guys? I'm Grandmaster Shaman, and welcome back to Flower Paradise. And today we have another episode of our 0 overall Madden franchise mode, where we have gone from 0 to 80 to start our 4th season. And the Portland Snowhawks won in their first game of the year. We have a couple more upgrades to get to, as Jake Matthews, our left tackle, is back to 80 overall after losing an overall point at the end of last season. He is 30 now, and Ty Craig, our rookie corner out of Air Force, is now 77 overall. So that's fantastic news. He gets a +1 to zone coverage, play recognition, and +3 to awareness. So that's phenomenal news for us as we get Ty Craig up there. And we are 1-0 to start the season. We have an 83 overall defense, but our entire division, all of them won except for the Chicago Bears, who we play in this week's game. So let's see if we can't beat Chicago this week. It was a very defensive battle, but we were able to get the win. 13-10, Portland defeats the Chicago Bears, and Wyatt Kane had 2 touchdowns. That means we missed one of the extra points, which is a little bit worrisome. But Austin Johnson had less than 200 yards and 0 touchdowns, so a very good game for us. Brendan Booth had 92 yards rushing, which is very solid. And receiving the ball, Manuel Hall had 88 yards, Brandon Cooks had 45, Blaine Oswell had 35, and Slade had 29, so not bad at all there. Defensively, we got a bunch of tackles for Ryan Shazier and Owuzie. Ryan Connolly, our linebacker, got a sack and no interceptions in this game. But we do start off the season 2-0, which is phenomenal for us, as we do, in fact, get that. And Danielle Fuller is back into the starting lineup as well. Gussett, our 67 overall right guard, is going to be now 68 overall right guard, as he gets a nice little attribute update there as well. And then we have our contract re-signings. So currently we have Reese Fountain, our wide receiver, who is on IR. I actually have no reason to re-sign this guy. I know he's 70 overall, and I know he's been on the team, but I'm actually going to withdraw the offer now, so that way he is just completely uninterested, because he is on IR for a long time. Like, look at that. Out for 26 weeks. He's very injury prone. He's only 70 overall. I have no quarrels getting rid of that guy. So, honestly, this entire thing, I don't think I'm going to re-sign any of these guys. Maybe Kyle Shermer to a year or 2 deal. You know, 690, it was 0 signing bonus, isn't too bad. And he played well that first season. He's got a special place on the team. But I also am going to go to my depth chart and see if our wide receiver Oswell is our slot receiver. No. So I actually want Oswell to play the slot receiver for this football team. I think that slot receivers in these simulation franchises tend to get more playing time. So I'd really like to see him get some more catches and be a little bit more versatile. But we are playing the 2-0 Minnesota Vikings. They were the worst team in our division last year, and now they are 2-0 to start off the season. We have back-to-back division. We have 3 straight. We play our entire division in a row. So this is a very hard stretch of games. I would not expect to come out unscathed, especially against the Super Bowl champion Packers next week. That is going to be a hard game, but let's see how we do against the Vikings. A 3-0 start to the season, 21-14. We win the football game, and we played terrific. Kane had 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions for almost 230 yards. Kirk Cousins got sacked 6 times. Brandon Booth had 66 yards rushing. Nate Sapp had 15. Pardon me. Philip Slade, our rookie tight end, or our second-year tight end out of Notre Dame, had 81 yards receiving. Cooks had 38. Hall had 34. Oswell had only 2 catches in this game, which is kind of a letdown. Defensively, Von Bell had 6. Let's look at our sack totals. Tyus Bowser continuing to come through for this team. He has been absolutely terrific. Durance Armstrong had a sack. And Danielle Fuller in his return game had a sack as well. So that's phenomenal news for us at this point. So we are 3-0, and we won back-to-back road games against divisional opponents. And now we play at home against the defending Super Bowl champion 2-1 Green Bay Packers. Now Derwin James is set to return, but we could get Von Bell double experience for playing in this game. However, this is against the defending Super Bowl champions, and I kind of want Derwin James, but his injury would go down significantly, as well as acceleration and speed. I don't think he would be better than Von Bell with all of those decreases. So I think we're going to start Von Bell as the safety. He's going to get double XP in this game, which will be very nice. We did lose Emmanuel Hall out for 5 weeks with an injury, so that's not super great as we lose another receiver. Let's see, we have a big game here against the Green Bay Packers. What do I expect out of it? I feel like we can get the win against the Green Bay Packers in this game. And then we have a bunch of people getting upgrades. Tyus Bowser, of course, we're going to increase his power rushing ability. He's going to go up to nice 80 overall as a football player. He has been terrific for us. I'm very glad we got him onto the team. Leonard Rudolph is going to go up to 79 overall at right tackle. That's very solid for him. Wyatt Kane, our quarterback, of course. I'm going to increase his scrambling ability just because I think it could be very useful. He's going to go up to 75 overall. Then we have McLaurin Jr., who's going to increase his Rance Armstrong, our defensive tackle. I'm going to increase his power rushing. That is kind of what we need, even though he doesn't really fit the scheme. He has been very good for us. Is Danielle Fuller as well getting sacks. We're going to increase his overall to 71, increasing his power rushing ability. Huggins Jr. is going to go up to a nice solid 67 overall, which is pretty nice. Philip Slade, our tight end, continues to be a force to be reckoned with. He's still 63 overall, but a nice set of +1s for him. Kilmer, our left guard, who's 59 overall. We're going to increase his small little stat here. He's going to gain pretty much nothing off of that. And then Kyle Shermer is going to increase his field general ability, and that's going to put him at remaining at 56 overall. So that's a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. So we got a big game against the Green Bay Packers. I said we can win. I believe that we can do it. We have an 81 overall team. But the question is, can we? No, we can't. 31-17 against the defending Super Bowl champions. We outplayed them. We threw, I assume we probably threw an interception. But we had almost 100 more yards of offense. But we just fell short, unfortunately. Yeah, we did throw a pick. Aaron Rodgers had 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 208 yards. We had 312 yards passing, which isn't bad. It's not like we played terribly. We just ended up on the short end of the stick, I guess. Brandon Cooks had 128 yards receiving. Oswell had 66. He's been pretty solid. McLeod had 46. Defensively, Ryan Shazier had 11 tackles. Quentin Bell had a sack, as well as Tyus Bowser, once again, half a sack. And then Joey Trapp, a second-year strong safety, got the interception for the Green Bay Packers. But that puts us at 3-1, which is a little unfortunate that we did lose against our rival, especially after I said that we could win that game. We don't need to worry about changing our team, and we don't need to re-sign any of these players. Not too worried about these guys leaving to free agency. Derwin James is officially returning back to the lineup. Maybe we should have played him. I don't know. We're playing the 3-1 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's a very good team right there. We have another set of overall increases as Ray McLeod is up to 73 overall, and that could be very helpful. I'm debating on whether or not I want to return this guy. He's come in and he's played okay. Nothing too crazy good there, but, he could potentially be helpful to the team. I'm not really sure exactly what to expect from that. Quentin Bell moves up to 63 overall for us. Clayton Lott, a tight end, is 59 overall still. Didn't gain any overall, but he does gain a bunch of stuff in terms of stat line. And Dion Lane, is up to 58 overall. He probably won't be on the team too much longer. Unfortunately, he has not played extremely well or much at all, to be honest. But we have a big game against the Tampa Bay Bucks. Derwin James returning is very nice to add to the lineup, as he will be back at the starting position. We are going to put Von Bell as the backup, just in case we do need to do that, because Von Bell is the fourth string corner anyway. So we'll at least keep him back up in case Derwin James does get injured again. And we'll have to see if we can beat Tampa. So another low-scoring game, kind of what we expect, but we do pick up the victory, 17-14, moving us to 4-1 on the season. We had 239 yards of passing offense. 226 of them came from Wyatt Kane. He did have 2 interceptions, though. That really is not super good for us. Booth had 79 yards rushing, which is pretty solid. Receiving, Oswell, our rookie out of Notre Dame, had 154 yards receiving and a touchdown, which is really, really good. Defensively, Carlton Davis had 10 tackles for Tampa. And we did get to the quarterback twice, the rookie Connor Swanson. And Derwin James, in his return game at safety, did get a sack. So that's pretty solid. And then Murphy Bunting and Sean Davis both got interceptions from Wyatt Kane at this point. So, I mean, not a bad start to the season at 4-1. I mean, we take those starts, especially considering we are very close to our win total from last year already, which is pretty good because our win total wasn't even, terrible. Quentin Bell did get injured. He broke his thumb. He is a 63 overall left end, though. I'm not too concerned about that. We don't really lose much between him and the next guy. Connor Swanson and Blaine Oswell both get another attribute increase, so they've got to be pretty darn good. So we will know his here within the next 2 games, and he is up to an 81 overall right end already, which is pretty incredible. Then we have Blaine Oswell, our wideout. He's going to increase his physicality. He's still 79 overall. And we still don't know his yet. Obviously, he missed a few snaps due to that injury in that game. He's only 20 years old, too, which is really nice. That means he's got 9 years before he really starts age regressing. But we take on another tough opponent. Our schedule is just brutal so far as we take on the Dallas Cowboys. Between, Minnesota, Packers, the Bears were by far the easiest game. I don't know how the Patriots look. But we have another tough game upcoming against the Dallas Cowboys. Well, another brutal loss as we lost by, a bunch. 18. We lost by 18 points. They had a 14-point fourth quarter to pull away at the end. We had a turnover, but so did they. But they outplayed us. They outgained us. They've just played a significantly better game than we did. Dak Prescott, 4 touchdowns, a pick. We had no touchdowns through the air with an interception. Booth had only 61 yards rushing. Ezekiel Elliott had 99 yards. Our defensive line really needs some work. Ray McLeod had 46 yards receiving. Cooks did pretty well, and Oswell had 33 yards on 3 catches. Defensively, Ryan Shazier had 11 tackles. Keanu Neal and Roman Fields all had some pretty decent games. Tyus Bowser had 2 sacks, and Swanson had 1, as they just continue to be a huge factor on that team. And then we had an interception by Ryan Shazier, our linebacker, and that puts us at 4-2 on the season. Now, luckily, that is the same record as the Packers. We don't have the tiebreaker, so that game in next week is going to be very massive. We might want to watch that. But we have an opportunity for a breakout player, and that is Tyus Bowser. So he has been playing extremely well. We need less than 75 yards rushing and 1 rushing touchdown, or get Tyus Bowser 2 or more interceptions, forced fumbles, tackle for losses, and sacks. That is very possible, and that would put him at superstar development trait, which would be absolutely incredible. We do have an injury. That is going to be Durant Armstrong, our very solid defensive tackle that we picked up at the beginning of the season. So that's a huge loss for us on that front. That is not going to be very helpful for us. Now, the question is, do we want to watch the Eagles game? That would mean we wouldn't watch the Packers game, or do we want to watch the Packers game and not watch the Eagles game? The fact is, there is a potential for Tyus Bowser to get a huge development increase in this game, and I kind of want to watch it, all things considered. Pass coverage ability, that's going to put him up to 79 overall, which is really good for Roman Fields. He's still only 22, and he has been playing extremely well. Then we have Ballage, our 72 overall running back, who's now 73 overall. He's been helping us out quite a bit. I'm glad we picked him up in that free agent market. But we play the 2-4 Eagles, and I am not sure if we want to play this game or not. I'm gonna have to say no, because I think the Packers game is more important for us as a team, but Tyus Bowser getting that chance is huge, and I worry that simming this game will not let him get it, and playing the game could potentially let him get it, but I'm gonna have to sim past it. Well, this isn't good. We lost to the Eagles 12-14. That we gave up 161 rushing yards. I don't think we got it. We had 232 passing yards. We held them under 125 passing yards, which is kind of incredible. But Miles Sanders had 126 yards rushing. Booth had only 62. Receiving the ball, Cooks did well. Booth had an okay game, as well as Oswell. Defensively, Tyus Bowser got 2 tackles for loss. Does that mean we succeeded? I don't know. J.J. Watt had 3 sacks. Swanson had 1. Fuller had 1. McLaurin had 1. There's Dre Greenlaw, who is awesome, by the way. No interceptions, but he got 2 tackles for loss, which I think was one of the things that we had to do, but I don't know for sure if that is actually the case or not. Really disappointed in his performance. I thought he was going to make the jump. Damn it. I thought that was it. But we do have a breakout player opportunity this week against the Green Bay Packers, and we will watch this game. I'm probably going to skip part of it because we're already a decent chunk into the episode, but Brendan Booth, our running back, has an opportunity here. He has got to get 150 rushing yards or receiving and 3 touchdowns in order to get through this game. So that is a huge opportunity for our running back, and I really like that. Ray McLeod and Colin Ballage, I'm actually going to keep them there. We might actually want to re-sign them potentially. But before the game, Ty Craig, our corner, has got another nice little upgrade. So he's now 78 overall at corner. I'm so glad we got this guy. And then Nash, our center, we're going to increase his agility. That's going to put him up to 78 overall, which is very nice for us, as he could be a very big help to this team. So running the football is going to be a very big key here. We need him to get 150 yards of total offense, or we need to get him 3 touchdown runs. So the thing is, Booth is our starting running back, and he will be getting the majority of the carries here. He is not going to be the power running back, but I'm going to go all in. We're going to try and get this guy the football on every possible situation that we can. I worry about him getting potentially injured in this game, but I think we should be fine. And without further ado, we're going to get into the Packers game. I'm going to sim the first 2 quarters, I think, and then we'll see if we're still close. At the moment is 3-13. Green Bay currently has the lead. In terms of stat-wise, let's check out where our running back stats are. Booth has 23 yards. We need to have him 153 total yards of offense, and he is, nowhere near it. He also has, we don't have any touchdowns, So I don't really think that we're going to have much of a chance to win this or to get this at this point. But let's see if we can't potentially score on the opening drive and make things a little bit more interesting. We only score a field goal, and they score a touchdown. I think this game's actually pretty much over. 20-9 is the score, and yeah, that is going to do it. So 23-9, and then we get in the end zone at least once. But 23-16, we end up losing this game. So I was going to play it, but we were down by quite a bit, and I didn't really feel like that was going to do it. So we get 286 yards passing, a touchdown, 0 interceptions. Rodgers threw a pick. But Booth ended up with 46 yards rushing. We actually held them pretty well as they, two of their players ended up getting 48. I suppose Aaron Jones ended up getting injured in this game. But Booth had 46 yards, so he wasn't even remotely close. Oswell had 69 yards receiving. Slade had 66. Booth only had a reception for 4 yards. Let's check out sack-wise. Yeah, nothing really. Danielle Fuller got a sack. And then we did get Marshawn Lattimore an interception, but ultimately didn't actually help that much. Now, the plan was to go in and watch the second half of the game, but we were down by 10 points, and I was like, you know what, let's at least see if we can score on the opening possession. We score a field goal. That still puts us down by 8, and I'm like, I don't know. And we ended up losing our second consecutive game, so that is going to make us unable to get Brendan Booth the upgrade. So that's really unfortunate for us at this point. So the first half of the season has been up and down. We ended up losing 4 games. We're sitting at 4-4 on the season right now, and that is very not good. So we now have a 2-game deficit to overcome against the Green Bay Packers. And just looking at the schedule with 3 straight should have won. And to the Packers, we go into the bye week with some big question marks. As we are at the same point as we were last season. Last season we started off 4-4 as well. So I really want to try and make something happen in the next week. Right now, I'm not really sure what we should do. This was the end of the trade deadline. I decided not to go with any major trades in this game as well. I don't know if that was the best decision, because I think that maybe potentially trading one of our defensive backs for a lineman might have been the way to go. We get a skill point on Bernard, and we're going to increase his physicality a little bit, so he gets some decent stats in that category, but I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I should have traded for a defensive lineman, because right now, if we look at our defensive line, that is the weakness. That is 100% the weakness of this football team is right here, these defensive tackles. He is superstar X Factor. I totally forgot that they... Holy goodness, he's a superstar X Factor. He's got Fearmonger. Oh my god. Future of the franchise is right. Holy shit. Wow. He also has unfakeable. Interesting. Wow. That's pretty crazy. Offensively, did we get anything here? Oswell is also... Oh my gosh. Oswell also is a superstar X Factor with the ability double me. Wow. That's incredible. We drafted 2 superstar X Factors. Oh my god. Wow. That is madness, I will say. That is pretty darn crazy to think about. But wow. I will put, I'm still putting, I might put Craig up here to the second corner, actually. Get him some more playing time over Keanu Neal. See, that's what I was thinking, was I could trade either Keanu Neal or Von Bell for a potential defensive tackle. And I really should have pulled the trigger, but it's too late now, unfortunately. I can't do anything because the trade deadline passed. Probably should have pulled the trigger, but I didn't. So we have a breakout potential. Oh, wait. Yes. We have breakout potential for Ray McCloud. He would have to get 100 yards receiving or rushing and 2 touchdowns, or 2 touchdowns in this game against the Rams. I'm not really too worried if he gets it or not. It just sucks because, like, I almost want to sign him and then, like, try and make sure that he gets it, but I don't think he will. He's still, like, really low on our depth chart, and I don't feel like moving him up at the risk of potentially losing the game. Wow, the Bears started off 0-4, and they've won 4 games in a row, by the way. That's pretty crazy. So right now, we sit in a position where we have to play the Los Angeles Rams, who are 5-3, and we are 4-4. And this is going to be a telling game on how our season is going to go. I'm debating going in and watching the game, but considering the time that we've had in this episode, I feel like we might as well just get through it. Well, our losing streak is finally over. We dominated the Los Angeles Rams 35-14, and that is a very good sign as we move up to 5-4 on the season. Wyatt Kane had 2 touchdowns and an interception, which the interception's a little unfortunate, for 287 yards, only sacked 1 time. Booth had 85 yards rushing as well, which is pretty good, and we held them to 35 rushing yards with Henderson, so that's amazing. Slade had 86 yards, Cooks had 63, Oswell had 39, Ray McCloud had 3 catches for 27 yards. Not really too surprised there. Swanson and Fuller had sacks, as well as Shazier and Bowser had half sacks, and David Long was the one that got the interception on us. So that puts us at 5-4 on the season. Our 3-game losing streak is finally snapped, and we have one of the top 5 defenses in the country, which is kind of insane. But as you can see, we are currently sitting very much in playoff competition. We are, 6th in the NFC right now, tied for 6th with we have the tiebreaker over the Rams and the Bears. The Giants and Redskins, we play the Redskins next, so that's a very telling game. The Cowboys sit at 7-1-1 right now, and yep, see, look, we have the number 4 ranked defense in the country, which is pretty insane. So Ray McCloud, yep, not even remotely close to getting the yardage that he was looking for. We do have a couple of big upgrades, though, as Connor Swarrenson, our Superstar X Factor rookie. Oh, man, I can't believe I'm saying that. Wow. 82 overall now at right end. We got Nathan Cooper up to an 81 overall at right guard. That is phenomenal news for us. Blaine Oswell, our Superstar X Factor wide receiver, which is also amazing, goes up to 80 overall. He gets a bunch of stuff and an ability slot, which he gets in-out elite, which is pretty solid for him. AJ Cole, our backup punter, got an ability point. Not really sure why I don't even know if he should really still be on the team, but regardless, we got our defensive end up to 67 overall. Derek Cohn, our corner, is up to 65 overall. Very disappointing. You know, he's a superstar, but I don't know how long he's going to stay on the team. Philip Slade, though, has continued to be impressive as he moves up to 64 overall. Slowly but surely making some progress here as Kent Pitts moves up to 61. So some decent upgrades here for us. Nothing too incredibly crazy, but yet we did get an ability slot for him, which is really good. Quentin Bell comes back after injury. So we now have to play the Washington Redskins in a major game that could completely change the landscape of our playoff hopes. Landscape changed all right. We lost to Washington 31-17. Oh my gosh. Dwayne Haskins had 273 yards and 2 touchdowns. We threw 2 interceptions. I'm really worried about the potential of Wyatt Kane being the future of this team. He's been so up and down over the last few seasons. I really don't know. Receiving the football, Slade had 51 yards. Oswell had 45, which is pretty good. Shazier had 8 tackles. Tyus Bowser had another 2-sack game. Fields, our middle linebacker, had a sack, which is pretty impressive. And then Landon Collins and Monte Nicholson both had interceptions from Kane. And that's going to put us at an even 5-5 this year. Still not out of the playoff hunt, but that is very much not good. As you can see, we're no longer like very close to the top, as we currently sit in 8th. And we don't have a tiebreaker against the Redskins, which is really bad. So, but the Cowboys did lose, so that means the difference between these 3 teams, and they're all the division leaders, the Seahawks, the Packers, the Cowboys, and the Falcons, are all the division leaders. So right now the slots here are Panthers, Rams, Redskins fighting for the 2 wild card spots. So we very well could make it into the playoffs at this point, but losing that game was massive, because right now we'd be in the playoff chase, the thick of the playoff chase, if we had won that game. And the fact that we didn't is very, very disappointing. So we'll have to see how it goes, but we play the New York Jets this week. We did also get a new injury, as Booth has a compound foot fracture. He is out for the rest of the season. Oh no, that is very bad. Back-to-back losses. This one in overtime to the Jets, and I don't even know what to do at this point. Like, what do I do? How do I... Wyatt Kane, 197 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Sam Darnold had 2. We still couldn't win because we couldn't get any offense at all. Amy McLeod had 82 yards receiving. Slade had a few. Oswell had a few. Man, Shazier had 11 tackles. Fields had 11 tackles. Craig, our corner, had 10 tackles. That's not good. We had a couple of sacks. Nothing too spectacular. And Awuzie and Neal both had picks. But we lose again, and that's going to put us at 5-6. And pretty much, I think that pretty much does it for our season. I'm pretty sure we can't really... I mean, we could, but it would be damn near impossible to make the playoffs at this point. I haven't actually checked to see where we're at in terms of our draft stock. So I haven't looked at the draft yet. I'm going to do that here next week. But damn, this is really unfortunate. We had such a good team. I can't believe that we ended up just falling flat on our face in this game. And man, a brutal second half of the season so far for us. I mean, winning would be nice, but at this point, I wonder if we should just accept defeat. And we should, like, start putting some other players here. Like, you know, give... I actually really don't know, because most of our guys are like, really young players. So we're playing, like, really young guys to begin with. But this is just unfortunate. I think not having defensive tackles, and I think having a 75 overall outside linebacker is really not helping us out very much. McLaurin, I mean, is great, and I like the guy, and he has been one of the stories of this campaign, but I think he's reached one of his peaks at 75 overall. We haven't seen him gain overall for a while. I don't know. But this offseason's going to be very interesting, especially at defensive tackle. And I'm debating here at quarterback, because especially if we can lose a few more games, maybe there's a quarterback in the draft that we could potentially get. Well, the season's officially over for us as we lose 14-10 to the Buffalo Bills. And I mean, on the bright side, we're competing. 4 years, this is the 4th season, and we're competing against some of the better teams, but it's so disappointing to see, this be the result of how things have gone to this point, because, I would love for things to be a little bit better. Tyus Bowser still got a half a sack, and Derwin James got a pick on Josh Allen, but man, we are currently sitting at 5-7 right now in the NFL standings, and that is one of the worst in the league. We're sitting at 21, so we currently have the 11th selection in the draft. As we do get an upgrade on Ty Craig, as he moves up to 79 overall. His zone coverage continues to improve. He got +4 to his awareness, which is currently 55. Wow. Okay, so we have this year's draft class coming up, and surprisingly, Ish Valentine from Miami is the #1 projected player in the draft, and he's a quarterback. How weird is that? You don't really see that very often in these Madden, just randomly generated draft classes. For some reason, they tend to hate on quarterbacks, but if you look, the top 4 quarterbacks, probably even the top 5 quarterbacks in the draft, are all first-round talent. So this could be one of the most deep quarterback classes that we have, and I'm debating if we should just move on from our quarterback. I know he's a superstar development trait, but look at this draft class. This dude from I don't know why a UL Monroe or a Princeton quarterback would be this high in the draft, but they are, and that's actually there's 2 Princeton quarterbacks. They're running a double quarterback set, I guess. I don't know exactly how that works out, but they're running 2 quarterbacks, and both of them are expected to get drafted. No, 3 quarterbacks. That makes perfect sense. So Princeton's running a triple quarterback set. I don't know why, but look at these quarterbacks. They're very impressive. Running back wise, I've only been able to scout 2, but we might need a running back. And then tight end, it's scouted quite a few tight ends because that is a very much an area of need, and it's not looking like a very good tight end class at all. So we might have to look towards the free agent market for that. Defensive lineman, right. Okay, so defensive tackle, we have 3 players that are all first-round talent, though this guy's got A+ power moves, which is really interesting. He's not even considered a power rusher, and he has A+ power moves. That's pretty crazy. I'm not entirely sure what to kind of expect from these guys. They're all very talented, but we got early first-round, mid, and late first-round talent. And then our linebacking situation, we've got Jalen Carroll. We haven't really found too many gems outside of maybe Angel Espinoza. But these 2, obviously Bruce Cousins out of Notre Dame is probably going to be an absolute god. There's just no way this dude isn't going to be an absolute legend. I'm sure he'll be probably the best player in this draft class. Out of Notre Dame, it's very hard to not be, at this point. Pretty much all of the Notre Dame guys I've drafted have been pretty good, though. So, I mean, well, another loss. 4 in a row for us as we lose against the Chicago Bears, 35-14. It wasn't even close. Kane had 3 interceptions and only 2 touchdowns. Didn't really run the ball very well. Raymond McLeod led the team in receiving. We didn't really have much to be excited about. Tyus Bowser had a sack. Fuller had a sack. But overall, we are pretty much out of the woodwork now, and out of any sort of competition for anything other than potentially a top 10 pick. So we're sitting at 24 right now. If we lose again, that would put us at 9 losses, which would jump us way down here if some of these teams can lose. But at this point, I don't know. I'm not sure if we need a top 5 pick in the draft, but I don't know. Connor Swanson moves up to 83 overall, which is pretty nice. Daniel Fuller. I meant to go down to the next one, but it's fine. We'll just do run stopper. It's not a big deal. And we're just going to move on to the next game. Oh, we got a media question here. Your opponent's coming out well. Yeah, it'll be fun. Well, I didn't exactly want to win this game, I'm not going to lie. But 30-8, we beat Minnesota badly. It was not even close. Kirk Cousins didn't even throw any picks. Our defense stopped them from getting anything done. Dalvin Cook only had 20 yards. Stephon Diggs caught 132 yards worth of passes. I don't know how the frick this happened. Roman Fields had 2 sacks. Tyus Bowser had 1. Nobody had any interceptions. But we murdered them. I don't exactly know how we were managed to do it, but that puts us at 6-8. So that actually hurts us in the long run as we move up to 20th. So we currently would have, the 12th pick in the draft, and with 2 games left against Miami and New York, can't really get too much worse. But we do have a lot of upgrades here. Blaine Oswell, our superstar X-Factor wide receiver, is now up to 81 overall. It's really cool to have this guy on the team. I'm really excited. Roman Fields, our superstar middle linebacker, is up to 80 overall. He's been playing well. Wyatt Kane is going to get a nice little increase here. Probably trying to keep his job. He's up to 76 overall. I'm not really too sure that I'm going to keep him, though. We could get a nice draft pick out of some of these guys as well, which would be nice. McLaurin moves up to 76 overall. Leo Miles is going to get... he's a block first tight end, and is that his first? Is that his first upgrade? I don't know. I could be wrong, but Ezekiel Hughes is up to 67 overall, which is nice for what it's worth. We're going to increase the agility of Mike Randall. But for the most part, we also got Slade up to 65. He's making some progress, man. He's making some progress really fast. Weathersby up to 63 overall as the backup left tackle. And Tay Hilton increases zone coverage. He's at 62 at strong safety. So we got 2 games left in the season. I'm not really sure what to think here in terms of where we go, because if we look at what we're going to do in the postseason, which will be in the next episode, I'm not entirely sure exactly what we do here. I'm going to move Oswell up to the number 1 spot. Cooks hasn't done anything, though. I almost want to move him down to the 3rd slot because he ends up getting more time in the 3rd slot anyway. So we'll see if maybe that can get him a few more catches and more yards. But defensive tackle is going to be a major need, and I'm still not completely sold on our quarterback and running back situation. We also still need a pretty solid tight end. So we have a couple of positions that we have to go for over the offseason, but let's see how we do in these last 2 games. Well, it's a little late, but we won 24-6 against the Miami Dolphins. I guess the team hasn't quite given up yet. A touchdown, no interceptions. They do have Andrew Luck on the team, 217 yards. Ballage had 65 yards. Sapp had 59. Ray McLeod ended up with 75 yards receiving and a touchdown. Slade had 6 catches. So Oswell still didn't get much time, which is really weird. I'm trying to figure out the sweet spot to get him the most catches on the team. Tyus Bowser is at a sack. Connor Swanson had a sack. And I believe there wasn't any interceptions. So we're currently sitting at 7-8 this season, which is honestly, like, I don't think we have any shot at, we don't have any shot at making the playoffs. We're currently 20th in the league. I mean, but somehow we're 7-8. I don't really know how we won the last 2 games of the year, but we have the New York Giants in our final regular season game. We'll have to see. Maybe we'll go 8-8. But our last 3 games of the year somehow. 26-20, we beat the Giants. 240 yards passing, a touchdown and an interception. Daniel Jones had 2 picks. Cooks, McLeod did really well. Oswell barely played. I don't know exactly what the sweet spot is for him. Ty Craig had 9 tackles. Tyus Bowser, another 2-sack performance. Swanson had a sack, and Fuller had a sack. So another spectacular game. Roman Fields and Chidobe Awuzie both had picks in that game as well, which is pretty crazy. So, very good end of the season. I am baffled, but we've got a bunch of people getting nice little upgrades here. So Keanu Neal is up to a solid 85 overall rating, which is very, very good. Ryan Shazier increases to 84 overall. But some of these guys are going to get hit with regression this year, and that's going to be a major factor. Connor Swanson is up to 84 overall as well, as he's doing very well. Tyus Bowser going up to 81 overall at left end, which is really solid. There's Roman Fields up to an 81 overall middle linebacker. He has been very, very good for us as well. I didn't mean to press goals. Leonard Rudolph ended up going up to 80 overall at right tackle. He's slowly but surely making progress for us. Reese Fountain, who has been injured all season with a fractured kneecap, which sounds absolutely horrific, gains an overall point, I guess. Kendall Sharpton up to 66 overall. At this point, though, all these guys are like 60s. I'm just gonna auto upgrade them. CPU will probably give us something. So we have our chief scout, whose best is linebacker overall. I think I'm just gonna keep him as is. And I also want to check out. Oh, I can't go into coaching goals at the moment. Perhaps later. But that'll end the season, so we're going to do, like, because of how short the last offseason was and stuff, we're going to do the entire offseason starting from here. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I'm sorry it took kind of a lot longer than I thought it was going to take, but hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and we'll see you for the 2022 offseason.